Our first picture is from Kwong Nui Sim and Peter Linford on the use of learning portal, reconnecting students with teachers for practical courses. Thanks so much.
Hi everyone. I'm actually an imposter. I'm not an academic. I'm a sailing coach, and I'm only here because of Kwong Nui Sim. She was able to improve my teaching material and encourage me to get involved in things like this. My first time with Pucha, is it? Well, anyway, I'll Google that later, find out what that is. I had to Google asynchronous and synchronous yesterday to figure out what that meant, but we managed to slip that into here today, so it's good last night. So my name's Peter Linford. I work at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, which is one of the biggest sailing clubs in the world, and I run the sailing school there. How can we use a learning portal, some online teaching with practical course to improve the student engagement with the coaches? And really that's where Kwong Nui stepped in. Well, let's talk about the prior to that. Yeah, so traditionally we would sit down with our students for an hour and a half, 2 hours, do some theory in a classroom. Then after lunch we'd go out sailing. That seemed to work quite well, but it was quite a lot of information people needed to take in quite a short period of time. And then they needed to make sense of that out on the water in an environment they weren't sure of. Then lockdown came along. I'd never heard of Zoom. I didn't know what that was at all. And then 10 minutes later, I was presenting on it. We did our best to keep in touch with our students while we couldn't see them face to face. Had a computer game, and I was coaching people on that computer game and how they could learn how to do sailing. And that seemed to get some really good feedback. So that prompted me to think, well, is there some stuff that I was forced to learn during lockdown that I can take forward and improve our teaching material so that we get better student outcomes in terms of their ability to learn how to sail? So there's a QR code. If you want to scan that, you can have a look at our learning portal and actually go through some of the modules that we have on there. I'm really proud of it. I think it's really good. It's certainly a very efficient way of us to deliver the theory, because they come to us, they already know what they're doing, and we just go out sailing. So we have a morning session and an afternoon session. We've added time on the water. So here's level 1 portal, 8 modules followed by an assessment. Simply I send you an email, you follow the link, you start with module 1 and then move through them in order. And we've designed it that way so it builds on the previous module. This is what module 1 looks like. Simply watch the video. It's 20-30 minutes long. Then there's a quiz underneath the text. There's a button to get the quiz up. 5 questions, just consolidates what the module is about. Gives you the score straight away, and when you click done, you come back to this page. If you're happy with your score, you press next, and the next module is there. So it's pretty simple to go through, and we've had some really great feedback. I think it's all been positive. No one said anything negative about it. Bit of a difference in terms of the way we teach. There's a bit of pushback from some of the coaches, I guess. That was perhaps the most negative. Certainly the people that are using it have found it easy to use, and this is why they like using it. It's easy to use. If they miss something, they go back, relook at it. That's got that asynchronous, so they can study at their own speed. The questions just help them consolidate everything, and they get more time on the water. Doing a practical thing like learning how to sail, the more time we can spend doing that, the better. I do see some value in that theory though. From my observations, having students that come to us knowing something is really cool. Usually when I go in a classroom, students are sitting really quiet, hoping I don't ask them to introduce themselves. Now when I come into a classroom, they're looking out the window and discussing in groups what the weather's like, what the wind speed is, and the direction. And that's really cool way for them to start the course, knowing that already. I'm going to pass over to Kwong Nui now, and she can tell you the big words that I don't understand.
Yeah, he calls me the nerd. So we this learning portal idea is underpinned by the theoretical framework that I found published last year, integrated how we accept technologies and in conjunction with the planned behaviors, in this case, student learning behavior. And pedagogically, I found that it is not only beneficial for the teachers to reflect what they haven't actually explained well in the videos, that can be re-explained and re-emphasized during the practical session, and for the students as the revision resources before they embark to the next level, which is level 2. And in summary, I've realized that maybe the sense of connection and reconnection among students and between students and teachers need to be carefully created and developed in a way in order to address the student needs. And I guess for that, adult learning experience can be translated into our higher education context. And we have received a lot of positive emails so far. And for example, super well structured, focus on what is necessary, and very interesting due to the instructor's refreshing nature. So that human element is embedded straight away from the beginning. And also, the content is exactly what is needed, and give time for people to digest what they have learned and then put into practice. Also allows pausing and replaying and reviewing as needed. So it's at their own pace, but at the same time, they get connected with different coaches at different times. So I think that learning portal and the whole idea is about connecting and reconnecting among the students, also with the coaches. So the takeaway message is focus on building the human relationship before coming to the courses, and those are the key ingredients, I suppose, in higher education. And also the enhanced student learning outcomes, as shared by Peter just now, shows that maybe it's time for us to rethink and reevaluate the ways we use digital technologies. Maybe instead of what technologies we are using, maybe it's time for us to think about how we use the technologies. For your information, this is all built on SharePoint instead of learning management system. So, so again, how we use digital technologies to reconnect with our students, and do we actually need to use learning management system, or how do learning management system is going to help us to enhance this connection? So I think that's all from us. Because of questions and feedback later. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwong Nui and Peter. And I've got a question, but I'll have to hold till the end. So next up we have